Hi, I'm Dr. Carl Cavalli. I teach political science in the Department of Political Science and International Affairs at the University of North Georgia on the Dahlonega campus.
Dr. Cavalli, can you tell us about your undergrad and graduate education?
Yeah, I got my bachelor's degree through the State University of New York College at Oneonta with majors in political science and psychology. I got my master's and Ph.D. At the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill.
Okay. Did you have a favorite course in graduate school?
I suppose my favorite course was based on my interests, and that would have been a course on the presidency, which I actually took early in my graduate career and then audited again later on in my graduate career.
Okay. And then can you tell us a little bit about different research areas and then the classes you teach at the University of North Georgia?
Yeah, my research areas and the classes that I teach overlap pretty heavily. My focus has always been on American national institutions, Congress, the presidency, and the legislative process to go along with that, and political parties and elections. And in fact, those are the courses that I teach. Aside from the Introduction to American Government course, I also teach courses on the presidency, on Congress, on the legislative process, and I teach courses on political parties in both presidential and congressional elections.
Wow. Okay. Now, Dr. Cavalli, you are the advisor or one of the advisors for political science students here on the Dahlonega campus. And then, so can you tell us a little bit about internships for political science students?
Yeah, I manage the non-international internships, and if you are pursuing a Bachelor of Science plan, you do not require an internship, though you can use one for up to 6 hours for major credit. If you are a pre-law major or an American politics, pre-law concentration or an American politics concentration, those do require internships. Pre-law now requires a 6-hour internship, and in fact, the American politics concentration requires 2 6-hour internships. And I do manage those. Generally, they can be with governmental administrative positions, with law positions. Of course, for pre-law students, we place a lot of people in law offices, judges' offices, district attorneys' offices, and all sorts of things like that. For the American politics concentration, we place people in those situations, in governmental situations, working in a legislative office, the state legislature, or with members of the U.S. House of Representatives or Senate or the governor's office. We also place them in political situations, working for interest groups and working on campaigns and with political parties. So there's a pretty wide range of places where we can put interns.
Okay, and then students who are pursuing or in an internship in a semester, is there anything else required? Because it's a class, essentially, it counts for credit.
Yeah, it counts for course credit. We offer, the most common internships are 3-hour or 6-hour internships. You have to have completed 48 hours before you can do an internship, but of course you can start thinking about one long before that. Technically, students have to arrange their own internships, but we have resources to help them.
Okay.
There is an internship page under student resources on our website. The Career Services also has resources to help find internships as well. So students will find an internship, and then they will bring an application form to me, which is available on our internship website. I will send out a letter of agreement or an agreement form to whoever their supervisor is going to be, and once that comes back to me, then we enroll the student. Students can enroll themselves, but you don't have to worry. It's not like a class where seats fill up or anything like that. You want to do an internship, you'll be able to do an internship.
Okay, and then once they're in their internship as a class or then they're at their site working, do they have any assignments or like what does that look like throughout the semester when they're actually at the site?
Yeah, most of what they're going to be doing is keeping a daily journal of their activities. They'll also be keeping track of their hours. At the end of the semester, we collect everything. The journals, the way we generally do it is have the students post the journals online pretty much as they write them daily, and the hours kept. The semester-long requirements are a paper where they have to select a book to read and compare that book to their internship. There's a list of pre-approved books that we send out, and they can come up with ones on their own, subject to approval as well. But they have to write a paper for the semester, and we also get their supervisor's evaluation as well. And those are the major components of any internship.
Okay, and then can you tell us a little bit about just kind of the pros and maybe some challenges of an internship for a student?
Well, of course, the good thing is that, especially in today's world, experience is becoming increasingly necessary. And internships provide you with experience. Just as important, they can provide you with connections as well. Your supervisor could be the source of a recommendation, for example. The people you work with in the internship could be connections to the future. So I think that's the biggest benefit of doing an internship. The biggest challenge, I think, has always been scheduling for students, trying to fit one in while you are taking courses. A lot of students do their internships during the summer when they take either few or no other courses. Sometimes if you're doing an internship locally, with a local law office, for example, or maybe the city council or something like that, you might be able to do an internship along with somewhat of a class load.
Okay. And then this sounds like a great opportunity for political science students. Are there any other opportunities political science students can seek after while they're pursuing their degree?
Well, of course, we have our student organization. Actually, we have a couple of student organizations. We have the New Model UN. We have the Pre-Law Society. I'm the faculty advisor for the Political Science Student Association, and that's geared towards really not just political science students, but it's an opportunity for political science students to engage with other students. One of the biggest things that we do, there are really a couple of things. One of the biggest things that we do is have a weekly issue discussion called a Crossfire discussion. Every week, Wednesdays at noon in the Young Hall lobby for those that want to attend. Everybody's welcome, not just limited to students. The students pick a set of issues for the semester, and hopefully they'll be timely issues. We try to schedule them around things that are happening nationally or statewide or important topics. And it's a wide open forum, basically. So we encourage not only our own students, but students who are not majors, and again, even faculty and staff, to attend. And it's a chance for students to express themselves without having to worry about getting a grade, for example. Another thing the Political Science Student Association does is it produces a voter's guide. Every primary, every election, the Political Science Student Association produces a voter's guide that is geared directly towards UNG students. So in other words, it's not just a generic voter's guide. What we do is we survey the students as to what they think are the most important issues. Usually the top 3 or the top 5 issues in any given election or primary, and then we find out what the candidates' positions are on those issues, and that's what we put in our voters' guides. So it is specifically tailored to the UNG community.
Okay, all right. And then just in closing, Dr. Cavalli, can you tell us what you love most about teaching at the University of North Georgia?
I guess what I like most is from the very beginning, we've been allowed to teach to our expertise. We have been allowed to put together courses the way we feel is best for our students. We have been allowed and indeed encouraged to use our own research. We have been, there are resources available to us, and I think all that's very important for teaching, and so I would say that's the best thing about teaching here.
Thanks so much, Dr. Cavalli.
You're welcome.